So this is a spring well. The mountain acts like a sponge and releases water year-round underground in this area that would be essentially a year-round spring out of the ground. This tank is attached to that spring, collects the water. That pipe running down is for overflow. And then the valve is at the bottom, and you get gravity water pressure from the weight of all the water flowing up from the top of the tank, pressing down. But it's going 150 feet over there to the pump, and then another 100 feet. So by the time it reaches that area, the water pressure is low, and it only gets lower as you're using water and it's going down. So that's why we have the pump with the pressure tank attachment. Alright, so this is the existing water system. I'll try to explain what this mess is. So right here is where the water from the spring well comes in this setup. It gets filtered right here through a sediment filter, and that's just so that you don't get a bunch of debris in the pipes in the house or ruin your pump. So this was set up to bypass and lead to this, but originally this would have come up into here, which you can see this is curving this way, but originally it went this way into the pump and then up this pipe, and there's a pressure tank right here, bee's nest on it, but yeah, pressure tank right there, adds pressure to the pipe. There's a pressure gauge, and when the pressure is low, it activates the pump to shoot more water down into the house. It goes in there and then underneath the house. Now this system is not usable, and I purchased something that can replace essentially most of what's here, so we'll take a look at that. So we got the pump, we got the pressure gauge, set pressure right here, and we got our pressure tank. And this will allow us to have running water in the house and provide water pressure. And yeah, it'll work out pretty well. Okay, so what we got here is what we're going to use for our temporary and eventually also our permanent setup. But for the temporary setup, I've got a conversion from 1 inch to 3/4 inch fittings right here for the inlet and the outlet. That way we could use 3/4. So 3/4 inch size is pretty universal. In fact, the filter uses that, and it's also what's used for a hose. So I put this hose fitting here so I can attach essentially a garden hose right there and right here. So that'll be fun. All right, so what I need to find is one-way pressure valve